Hello and hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more Apex news. Of course, breaking down yesterday's patch. I should have done this yesterday. I do apologize. We had another Apex story out there where I actually talked about the patch being out. I did not think it was going to be this big of a patch. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I read through it and it's actually quite a few big changes. I would say overall, you guys can leave your thoughts down below. It was a pretty good update. Some weapons saw some nice balances, some nice buffs, and a few weapons saw some nice nerfs I think that were deserved, but there were a few complaints out there from pro players. So let's break it down. And also right off the bat, they addressed the elephant in the room, that being the fact there are many issues currently in the game that were not fixed in this patch, but props still to Jay as well as the team over at Respawn because they addressed the issues. They at least let us know they know about these issues and hopefully going to be fixed very soon, because there are still quite a few bugs in this game as they work it out. But I'm still very grateful they at least tell us, hey, we've seen your comments, we know the issues, but let's break it down, guys. I think the biggest part of the update, ironically enough, biggest part being the big boys finally receiving their buffs. We knew it was going to happen sometime soon because we knew their hitboxes could not get any smaller like the rest of the game's characters out there, but finally we see some very useful buffs for both Caustic and Gibraltar. And I think Caustic, well, he saw some huge buffs out there. So on the screen for all of you guys, as you've probably already seen, Caustic I think receiving the better of these buffs as well, as he now receives a passive taking 10% less damage. I really do like they actually did not give these guys more HP but gave them the 10% less damage, so overall it's going to be a much better buff as a passive perk. Also a huge buff to his gas damage, instead of 1 tick damage, now 4 tick damage, and his ultimate throw is now slightly increased. Caustic is going to be a dangerous man, and also with Gibraltar, guys, he gets that same passive perk of 10% less damage. So I think as of right now, a good solid number to start out on. We'll see of course how it plays out throughout tournaments, throughout competitive and casual play. And then very lastly, Gibraltar, his shield now takes 75 damage instead of 50. So I think all in all, this is well needed. Of course, every other character in the game is excessively smaller than these guys, so these buffs all in all I'm okay with. They'll probably be adjusted in the future, but at a base rate where we look at so far from a face value, I love these changes. And also on top of that, we saw the biggest weapon balance update we have seen since the game launched, actually affecting finally more than 2 weapons, which our first balance was. This affects several weapons out there, the first of which going to be snipers, all receiving a pretty nice buff. I can't really argue much with that. Myself speaking, I never really want to pick up snipers, so this might actually change that for once, as pretty much all the snipers, especially longbow, seeing big buffs with mag extension and a better fire rate. The Havoc as well, now seeing some necessary buffs in my opinion. When this weapon first came out, it was pretty hyped up, but certainly not overpowered whatsoever, so it kind of fell off as certainly a primary choice of weapon. Increased mag size, reduced cost per shot, increased damage close and long range, and also some other buffs we'll talk about later on. And then we get into the nerfs of some weapons out there, which I think were needed, but still when it comes to the wingman and the base wingman, it was heavily nerfed when it comes to actual mag size. Now just 4 shots in that base wingman. You pretty much need an extended mag of some sort for this, otherwise you might be screwed right at the drop. I think this is where we see a lot of pro complaints out there about the wingman being this heavily nerfed yet again after our last nerf as well, but still if you find a mag extension it should be fine, but we'll see how it actually works out. Alongside that being the Spitfire, I think deserved all of these nerfs. It was very, very overpowered in my opinion. I don't know what you guys thought about that. Damage reduction, mag size reduction, in my opinion, certainly needed. And also gold adjustments as well. I don't think it's going to have too much of a heavy impact, but we've seen a few complaints out there about these as well. I think they're overall pretty decent. The Havoc now gets a turbocharger, very nice upgrade, and the wingman also gets a digital threat, so I guess a bit of a balance there for the wingman if they felt they nerfed it too hard with mag size. And then very lastly, guys, very, very happy about this one. The jump ship is now going to have increased move speed by 50%, I believe was the number there, which is great for late game droppers, aka me, who doesn't want to interfere with anyone else on the map. You now get to drop a lot faster for you late droppers out there. So overall, my opinion was a generally positive update. I understand with every update there will be a bit of backlash out there, especially with a few particular pros as well. We're going to see how it plays out though, and I'm still really hoping for, you guys have been enjoying Apex news. I love doing Apex news ever since the start when the game came out. I just want maybe a few more frequent patches, especially if they're of this size, but I don't want them to necessarily go down the Fortnite path, but still a patch like this is a great change for the game. Now we're going to wait and see what of 2 things can come next. First of all, I guess one of 3 things, right? A lot of bug fixes still could be done. That's one. A premier event, a top premier event with pro players out there in a large prize pool. And then very lastly, is there going to be a new map sometime soon with that second season? We're going to wait and see how this one plays out. I still love doing Apex news and hopefully going to see you guys back here sometime soon as we break more stories for all of you. As always, my name is Jake. Hope you guys all enjoy this patch breakdown, and until next time, take care.